So today I will share a story of a person with long COVID. But first, what is long COVID? So long COVID can be defined as having symptoms of COVID-19 beyond 4 weeks. Symptoms include fatigue, breathlessness and brain fog, amongst others, and can fluctuate, persist and change over time and impact everyday functioning. The story of a participant's account of having long COVID is based on a qualitative longitudinal interview study, part of the Convalescence project. So we've conducted in-depth interviews starting with 40 people self-identifying as having long COVID. This is because not everyone with long COVID has been hospitalised or diagnosed with the condition. Participants were from the Bradford community, including parents from the long COVID, from the Born in Bradford cohort, and they had long COVID. We recruited ethnic minorities and people from socioeconomically deprived areas, so they were all represented in the data set, particularly because they were disproportionately impacted by COVID-19, and the initial kind of studies into long COVID largely interviewed people from white professional backgrounds. We're particularly proud of the exceedingly low dropout over time. So we started off in late 2021 with 40 participants, and then towards the end of 2023, so we re-interviewed all these participants, and we had 33 participants that took part in all 4 interviews. We've got a range of findings in relation to the study, so people's experiences of accessing healthcare for long COVID, how long COVID impacts identity, everyday lives and mental health. And we think that we are the first study internationally to look at how long COVID is experienced over time through qualitative interviews. And that's precisely what I'm going to do today with one participant's story. So this is the story of Sophia, a British Pakistani female from Bradford with long COVID. And just to point out here, her name is a pseudonym, and the story kind of omits in-depth details due to confidentiality reasons. So Sophia was infected with COVID-19 in early 2021. So when I first interviewed her in late 2021, she was still suffering from ongoing symptoms. Breathlessness was one of the main symptoms that she was suffering and had severe implications on her everyday life, including a routine activity of going to the gym, which she really kind of enjoyed. Previously, before the pandemic, before obviously the gyms were closed, she would go 5 days a week. But when going back with this breathlessness symptom, she could only do 15 minutes of a workout where she could usually do 1.5 hours. She told me how over time she had to rebuild her routine, her exercise routine and going to the gym. Over the interview, she described a mixed healthcare experience. So, for example, she was able to get support from a GP and get a sick note to get time off work while she was ill, and she had a good experience of accessing services. However, she didn't find anything useful in terms of medical interventions to alleviate her symptoms. And it must be noted also that she had other health conditions that impacted her health, some potentially linked to long COVID and others not. So in sweep 1, she told me that she thought that recovery was in reach because her breathlessness had improved over time. At sweep 2, she had got COVID-19 again, but this wasn't as severe. She described it as more like the flu. She was really optimistic and felt that she was 3/4 of the way of getting back to her normal self. So in the third interview, I was really prepared to hear that the participant was on a similar trajectory of improvement over time. However, this time round, she had a reinfection which really impacted her illness. This depleted her resilience. She had new symptoms of hair loss. And the breathlessness that she previously experienced when she first got COVID-19 kind of came back. She felt that this was a full circle moment, that she had gone all the way back to the beginning of her long COVID journey, despite trying so hard to get better. And this severely impacted her mental health, leading to depression and suicidal thoughts. So in this kind of last interview, she didn't really want to talk about her experience as much, and it was really short. Then the final 4th interview, actually, her situation turned around and she was improving. Overall, she had a fluctuating trajectory of long COVID that changed over time, and the reinfections really impacted her trajectory. So this is not an individual story, but rather it's a shared story. As recent statistics from the ONS Winter Coronavirus Infection Study state that 2 million people in England and Scotland were experiencing self-reported long COVID. There are news reports of people becoming bedridden from the condition. Although the world was temporarily closed for all of us, many people are still suffering from the after effects of COVID-19. And we hope that this short story of Sophia helps bring much needed attention to the condition of long COVID, to provide meaningful support to those suffering and provide better research-led interventions. Thank you.